Hey, hello. I want to plead that you watch this video till the end. If you don't watch till the end, you will misunderstand what I am talking about in this video. Thank you and God bless you. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the End Time Truth Television channel. We urge you to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell icon by selecting all so that the next time we upload a new video, you will be among the first persons to be notified by Google. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then, shalom. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching me from. God bless you. I bring you the latest update as it has to do with the dusted and settled leadership tussle and issues with the Scoan. It looked like this had been settled. It looked like the church is beginning to gain a sense of direction when we were told sometimes last week that the wife of the late founder of the church, Mrs. Evelyn T.B. Joshua, was appointed as the leader of the Scoan. And yesterday, we brought you a news that was in line with that. And so this time around, it is no longer just about them going to court and evicting some disciples and calling EFCC, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to question and drill some disciples and the prophets and prophetesses, those that were accused of breaking the vaults in the synagogue and emptying it of the money that was therein. But this time, we're looking at a different dimension of the crisis. If you remember, the first of this kind of video that I made, I titled it Scoan in Crisis, and that crisis seemed not to be abating soon. And so I'm going to give you a comprehensive report from sources that can be relied on about the rejection of some members of the Scoan of the leadership or the appointment of Mrs. Evelyn T.B. Joshua as the general leader of the Scoan. This they based on the fact, according to them, that was not the wish of their father, as they call T.B. Joshua. So I will be reading it to you. Please stay with us. Don't go away. Crisis rocks Scoan as members reject T.B. Joshua's wife as successor. This is coming from The Nation. And we have other news outlets that carries the news. Crisis rocks synagogue church as members reject T.B. Joshua's wife. This is legit NG News. Crisis rocks Scoan as members reject T.B. Joshua's wife. Ruben Abati. From here, we go to synagogue leadership crisis deepens as members reject T.B. Joshua's wife. This is coming from leadership. So, another one here. Synagogue leadership crisis deepens as members reject T.B. Joshua's wife. This is coming from reposnigeria.com. Crisis rocks Scoan as members reject T.B. Joshua's wife as leader. This is from latestnigeriannews.com. Crisis rocks synagogue as leadership rejects T.B. Joshua's wife. Though this one is a bit So I'm going to read one of the reports from this news media. And so I'm reading from you The Nation. The Nation is the national daily, it's a national newspaper based here in Nigeria. This reporter is reporting from Akure by name Osage Otabor. Some members of the Synagogue Church of All Nations Scoan, founded by the late Prophet Semitokwe Joshua, have rejected the emergence of his wife Evelyn as the new leader of the church. Late Prophet TB Joshua died suddenly without naming a successor, but his wife was left weak. Okay. Late Prophet TB Joshua died suddenly without naming a successor, but his wife was last week named as the leader. But those against Evelyn's emergence said the late founder expected his successor to be from among the pastors in the church whom he had anointed. They claimed that the rule has been swept aside by a few members whom they alleged were building stumbling blocks against the progress of the church. In a statement in Akure under the auspices of Global Congress of Scoan members, GCSM, and signed by one Adedeji Okoyemi, President of GCSM, and Secretary Mr. Brown Shimezie, the Scoan members called on all Christians and people all over the world to help in sustaining the church from ruin. The statement said the biggest task was to honor the last wish of Prophet TB Joshua and keep his flag flying. They said, we are worried about the emergence of Mrs. Evelyn Joshua, the wife of the late founder, who made unilateral declaration of herself as the new leader of the church. She claimed a congregation of 2,000 church members appointed her. This is ridiculous. Where did the meeting hold? Was it through a yes vote? Was it through election? Was it through anointing by the 2,000 members? Where is the resolution of the 2,000 members? Can 2,000 members pick a successor in a church with millions of members all over the world in 5 continents? What is the constitution of the church? Was it followed? Pastor TB Joshua never ran the church on the basis of profits. Today, there is a design by the newly self-imposed leader, Mrs. Evelyn Joshua, to commercialize every activity in the church for money. Mrs. Evelyn Joshua is not a pastor. She was never anointed by Pastor Joshua. She was not part of the founding members of the church. What is the basis of her emergence as the person now parading herself as the new leader? Under the aegis of Scoan Congress, made up of members from 188 countries, we shall continue to inform and educate the public, people all over the world, on every development at Scoan until wisdom, the way of God, and common sense prevail. So, and in a similar development, a certain pastor or Bishop Bernard, weighed in on this and took a very different and brutal approach on it. And so he said Evelyn Joshua is Jezebel. Bishop Bernard blasts TB Joshua's wife. In his own remarks, he said Evelyn Joshua, wife of late TB Joshua, has been attacked by Bishop Ufoma Bernard, founder of the Godist Church. Evelyn Joshua, wife of the late TB Joshua, that has been attacked. Evelyn Joshua, wife of TB Joshua, has been attacked by Bishop Ufoma Bernard, founder of the Godist Church. The bishop also called Evelyn a Jezebel. Bernard made a statement on Tuesday against Evelyn, who is now the new leader of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, Scoan. In a series of posts on Facebook, Bernard claimed that TB Joshua lamented in his last interview that Evelyn never showed interest in Scoan. He took to Facebook and wrote, Evelyn is cruel. TB Joshua never wanted her to succeed him. She was not ordained into any administrative or ecclesiastical position. She just muscled her way to leadership. Now, talking about TB Joshua's recent interview that has to do with his wife and the ministry or the church. Now, I have an interview here that spoke on that, what TB Joshua said about his wife. It was an interview that he granted this day daily newspaper, a Nigerian daily newspaper here, and that was recent. But then the newspaper house republished it in June 13 2021. This was done before his death. So, they also reproduced it. And so I'm just going to go straight to the section that has to do with what it seems that man was saying. They asked TB Joshua and said, "Not much is known about your wife and family." He answered, "I am very happy about this question. I have a wife and I have children. And even my first daughter is doing her PhD, and the second daughter is doing her master's degree in Oxford. In all, I have 3 daughters. The last one is still in senior secondary, is still in secondary school. I would have loved my wife to be like me, but I cannot make her what I am. It is God. It is not possible for me to anoint her. God is the one that anoints people. So it is not possible for her to sit here at the same time. This is not biological issue. It is inheritance from the sense. It is a partaker from the sense. Therefore, I should not use anything in my biological life to stop my spiritual life. I am a native of Arigidi Akoko, but as for my divine nature, I am a partaker of the inheritance of the saints. Therefore, it is so difficult for me. This is an apostolic ministry. It is not a ministry you read Bible, go to theology school, you get it, and you start preaching. No, it is purely divine. So it is so difficult for me to display my wife. She has to be ready for God. As much as you are ready for God, God will display her. Now, so this is, the much that I can take on this. The truth is that the seeming crisis, leadership crisis in the Synagogue Church of All Nations, has not yet abated, and this may linger for long. And if you remember, I did say some things in my videos. You can go back and check Scoan in crisis. Go back and check some of the things I said on that video, and you will understand, what I meant. The truth is that this kind of crisis is inevitable, actually, when you have most of the big churches in Nigeria, I don't know, including Africa, but let me just use Nigeria because this is where I am so certain of what I'm saying. Most of the big churches in Nigeria are built around the founder. Now, once anything happens to the founder, because there's no structure on ground, as it has to do with seamless leadership transition, then you begin to find this kind of issues, because in Africa, for instance, the wife of a prophet is automatically a prophetess. That's why you have Prophet Bushiri, even though he's a false prophet, you have his wife as prophetess Mary Bushiri. You have Hubert Angel, who is fake. Then his wife also will also give you prophecy, and his son is also now doing the one they call forensic prophecy. So it is everywhere. Alf Lukau, another false prophet, was trying in those days to groom his son, to present his son as in following his own footsteps. So you discover that this thing, they run a monarchical kind of structure, a monarchical kind of style of ministry. But this is not what Jesus the Lord established. Like I rightly said past in that video, that most of the men of God in the Bible, we don't get to know the names of their children because their children never succeed them. Their children did not succeed them. The only place you have sons succeeding fathers happen to be on the Levitical priesthood and on the throne, the kingship. Now, but when it comes to what God, has apportioned as in the spiritual leaders of the church, both in the Old Testament church and the New Testament church. Somebody, you want to ask me, is there church in the Old Testament? Church simply means the called out. So there was a church in the wilderness that Moses pioneered and handed over to Joshua. And Joshua also handed over to the elders around until that generation passed away before you now begin to have the judges that judged them. So that was a church. All right. So you don't find any kind of monarchical arrangement of father, dying and then the son or the wife taking over. Now, it has always been that God would appoint people. And a very good example of that, and we don't have it anymore, I don't know, we don't have it anymore, was the founder of the church, the Redeemed Church of God, which was not founded by Enoch Adeboye, but God instructed, and the man of God obeyed and brought in Enoch Adeboye, who was almost the youngest amongst the people and the persons who were hoping that they will, that they will be appointed, on that leadership position. Many of them were disappointed because God made his choice. Well, I will be leaving it here, as I expect also, what it will be. But what I'm looking at is that we may not have heard the last of this imbroglio. Will be keeping you updated by the grace of God. So I want to plead that you put down your comments, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so before, and like the video if you truly do. God bless you. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Till I come your way again, my name remains who I am. I am your brother in the Lord. From me to you, shalom.